Hello adventurers and welcome back to my channel. Today I am super excited because we are going to a place that I've wanted to come to for quite a while, but for some reason I managed to go to the wrong side of Tucson last time I was here. We are at Saguaro National Park, and here you can find one of the largest collections of saguaro cacti in the entire country. Now they are protected and it's absolutely beautiful to be able to see. As we're driving in, you could just see hundreds upon hundreds of them, and it was just such a treat. Let me show you what that was like, and then we're going to go into the visitor center and learn a little bit more and get some brain wrinkles about these magnificent barrel structure cacti. Super fun. Of course, we couldn't have a good adventure in the desert without a crazy sign that just took me completely off guard. And thanks to Aussie Van Man, Brock, he just pointed this one out to me. Yeah. Are you proud of yourself, sir?
Always.
Are you proud?
I'm pretty proud.
Wow. Now, for those of you just joining the channel, I hate snakes. I do know that going out into the outdoors, I'm more likely to encounter one, but I keep my eyes going. But whenever you see a sign, that means there is definitely a possibility that there are snakes. And on a warm day like today, well, I think that the chances are definitely stacked against us. And there's another one right there. Oh, good times. We're going to stay on the walkways. We're going to keep our eyes open, and we're going to have a guide. Mr. Brock right here, he's going to go in front of us to make sure that nothing happens. And yes, I realize we're at a crowded place, so we are less likely to see it here, but just in case. Okay, we arrived to the visitor center, and they have this beautiful like pergola structure so you can have a nice shade retreat, but then there's a wonderful viewpoint where you can see literally hundreds of these. And wow, there's also some interesting signage, so let's go check it out and see what we need to learn. Well, here we learn about some of the desert wildlife and some of the things we might find. Now, there is a snake. However, there are some other critters here, like a bunny. Look at the little bunny. In fact, this is number 13, a desert cottontail. They also have 12, which is a prickly pear. And then this little guy right here, an extension of these right here, which is a round-tailed ground squirrel. And of course, you can see some of the other cacti and some of the other big critters. We're going to hope that we don't run into any of the predators, but some of the others wouldn't be so bad. Now, as we see this sign, we can look on into the ridgeline and see the saguaros out here thriving, but we can learn here about what it's like to go through the entirety of a life cycle for the saguaros, from seedlings all the way to their decline. And we'll see various stages of these throughout the desert as we're moving around. So signs like these are very important because they allow you to have the context of what exactly is going on with what you're seeing in front of you. Now we've checked out a few epic views. Let's go inside. They have a video that's playing that's about 15 minutes long, but they also have a few other things, so let's go see what's up. Let's start off with patches, guys. I'm gonna get a patch today. Yeah, it's pretty crowded in here, so we're gonna kind of make our way around, but I'll show you some of the cool stuff that they have in the gift shop. I always enjoy finding this section, the advice from nature, and they have different ones in different areas. So if we were to follow the advice of a desert tortoise, we would take it slow and conserve our energy. I like that a lot. Also, they seem to have some national park salsas here. These look really yummy. look guys, it's a bunny, but there's also this little bunny. Oh my goodness, these are awesome. It's always interesting to see what kind of toys that they have, but this guy right here is so cute. And these little ones are also super cute. Not so much this one. Oh no guys, I left my passport in the van. Otherwise I would totally be doing my passport stamp right now. Of course, guys, that's only part of the reason you come to the visitor center. It's also because of the museum that they have inside. So I'm really excited to see what they have around this section. Oh, wow. We start off with this, which is an illustration of the saguaro growth. So this is obviously a dead cacti, but you can see inside of it into the cross section of what it would look like. This is what the ribs would look like. Now, one of the cool things about these, I learned at the Desert Botanic Garden that they can expand and contract based on the amount of water that they have. And so by being able to see inside, you can see that tight ring on the inside, but you can see that wider ring on the outside, and that's the part that goes in and out as it kind of goes. But just past that, we have all of these amazing photos behind us. I'm going to show you what they look like. And then there's this, which I don't know what it is yet, but we're about to find out. Now here is something kind of interesting. It says that gilded flickers and Gila woodpeckers peck holes into the cacti so that they can live. And this is kind of what that might look like. Along the wall, they have all of these little signs that tell you about where the picture was taken. So these are not just from here at the National Park, they're in different places, but you can see the variety and also the conditions in which that they are living, and I think that that is the best part of this wall. Not to mention it does show you a few interesting things, like right over here we have some petroglyphs as well, and this was actually taken right here at Signal Hill in the park, so you can find petroglyphs in the park. Okay, I can already see that inside this case we're going to see some things that we're probably not loving, but that's okay. We're going to just keep it moving and get to this one. This one actually shows us what the larger plants inside of this happen to be, including petroglyphs that you can find within. Again, petroglyphs can be found here in the park, so that's really cool. But you can also see a good picture as to what it would be like as we're roaming around in the park, and then the different identifying things that we would find. Now you can see that some of these areas are a bit more dense. They do have tiny little critters in them, just like these down here. And overall, this is a very good cross section of what to expect here at the National Park. But then also they have these screens where you can pick up the phone and listen in both English and Spanish to the program that's going on, and you can hear some of the birds. You can hear rangers talking and learn a little bit more about the landscape, which you can then again see right in front of you. They also have a little bit of a touch table here, so these places are things that you can actually touch and look at through the sensory pin right here. This is pretty neat. So these are things that allow you to have your hands on versus the things that ask you to please do not touch, like that first display. Now I think this is pretty cool also because they have the traditional harvesting of the saguaro fruits and how that would be done, and then how they would cook them down and use them for a variety of different things. This is really neat to see not only how it's done, but also why they do it with all these descriptors. Now, another thing that I always encourage you guys to do stopping off at the visitor center is check out the map, because, for example, here there's some information about something that was scheduled to be closed but is still currently open. You wouldn't know that though if you were just looking online, because some of the online information says it's already closed. But here you can find not only all of the trailheads and driving areas, but also you can see them and find exactly where they are versus where you are, which is very important. So like right now, we are right here. If we wanted to go and check out those petroglyphs, we would have to drive up to Signal Hill and then take the little trail. Now notice though, this is handicap accessible and it's an easy trail. There's also some picnic tables there, so this is why it's so important to check it out. But then again, you can also find all of the important questions that you might have answerable right here, just in case the visitor center is not open. Okay guys, after we moved out from the inside and checking out all the cool brain wrinkles and fun facts, this guy and I were gonna take a super easy like trail around the visitor center just to kind of show you some of the things that are here. Now, this park you could spend all day doing various trails, but the Cactus Garden Trail is a good place to start. So with that said, let's get going. Now throughout this trail, we'll find small signs like this in addition to numbered stops. So if we see a stop, that's actually something that they want us to pay attention to. And this one is actually about monitoring the moths. And they have traps like the one that we can see kind of in front of us. And that is where they're able to trap some of these little moths that are considered to be an invasive species.
So a little known fact about moths is Bunny has a natural ability to attract them to her head. So they follow her around. She's kind of like the Pied Piper of moths around here.
It's true. It's true. They do tend to dive bomb me. Not because I want them to, though. Thanks for sharing that fun fact, Aussie Van Man.
Another true Australian fact.
Normally, our tours are filled with brain wrinkles and seriousness, but today I don't feel like that's our journey. I feel like today we're going to have lots of Australian insertions. So let's see what happens. I'm sure that he's just frothing at the mouth to tell us another one. Okay, something else that we're learning is that along the Cactus Trail here, we are seeing that some of them have small leathery leaves, some have needle-like spines, and some have thick skin, which means that all of the plants that we're seeing here have the ability to conserve and store water, which is what allows them to grow in this desertous environment. Here we learn that rainfall, elevation, and soil type can control the variety and the virility of the saguaro's growth. Here in the Tucson Mountains, a 10-year-old saguaro may only be a few inches high, but a 30-year-old plant might attain a height of 2 whole feet. The fact is, the forest of cacti that we're seeing around us are ancient. In some cases, they're old. They're much older than some of us. And that's why that we want to protect them and preserve them, because it takes them so long to conserve that energy to grow while here in the desert, because they do have limited resources of water and things like that. So it's kind of interesting when you do see something blooming, because it takes a lot for it to get to that blooming stage here because of the energy that it takes to do that bloom. But whenever you do, it's magnificent. I'm going to show you this up close because I think you'll be able to see all of the tiny little buds, and it'll really intrigue you a little bit like it has me. Oh, these look like little hearts. That's cute. Now, just off of the Cactus Garden Trail, the Javelina Wash Trail is only about 600 feet long, and it departs right here. You can see Brock in the lead. Down we go, down a few stairs. Not anything too crazy, but this is going to give us a good perspective of the wash area, and we'll be able to see how the saguaros kind of surround that area, because that is a source of water whenever they have like snow melt and water flow that comes through this region. So this is 2 super simple trails that depart directly from the visitor center. I love this because if you don't have a lot of time to explore the entirety of the park, this still gives you a great way to see what the park is about and learn a little bit more about the plants that are featured throughout the park. And I think that that's really cool. Now, this also brings me to a good point. A lot of you have said we're not allowed to film in national parks anymore. And I actually spoke to a ranger who told me that because I'm doing educational style content, that they did not care if I personally filmed today. So that's something to note, and that's why this video is here. I do think that our national parks are a wonderful resource. We need to protect them. We also need to preserve them, and we need to appreciate them, because they are here for us to learn. So get some brain wrinkles from this, come out for yourself and see it, and wow, this is cool. Look at this guy. I am filming a filming person who is filming me, filming him, while we're in this amazing wash. What is this? This is like the layers of the earth right here. just showing out. Wow, look at this. This is cool. And this little ledge up here is probably 10 feet tall. And then we have this nice wash. If we had another one on the other side, this would be considered to be a slot canyon. But instead, it's just a nice, cool way to see what the world has to offer us. Now these are like conglomerate rocks or sedentary rocks. It looks like they are in layers. You can see the tiny pieces as well as the bigger pieces. And then you can see the giant like boulders. And it looks like it's just been washed away as the wash has kind of flowed through here over the years. It doesn't make it smooth, however, it's still pretty jagged. So you can see where the various points would have come through at different heights. And then they probably had some different rocks that have slidden off, because as you can see, just even touching this, some of the things aren't super solid and connected there. So this is a really cool way to see this. Now with that said, some of these areas recess in there pretty deeply, and then some of them are more surface. So it's kind of interesting to see. But one of the things that I always enjoy about every time I come to the desert is the fact that life can survive in such weird places. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Do you see how this tree is literally growing out of this rock right here? Now, portions of it have died off, but it's still also thriving. And because it doesn't need as much water, it can live here on this precarious position for a while. But then also look at this guy. Where we think life can't exist, life definitely can exist. Look at this. There's no rhyme or reason as to why this makes sense, but it simply does. In fact, the more that you travel through the desert, the more that you realize the things that exist here have to be hardy. They have to be strong. They have to be able to adapt and also go a long time sometimes without. So it's kind of interesting to see the things that we do find out here in way of the plants, the animals, and also the just overall general landscape itself. It's always changing. In fact, while I've been out here in the desert, we've had windstorms, we've had violent rains that have just come down and then just sucked right back up the very next day. The desert is a very interesting place, but at the same time, there's a lot to learn from it. Now, as much as they do have a few areas that we can hike in, this one and beyond is actually closed off. Even though it looks like it's a wash and a trail, they have asked people to not go into this one. There's another one also that departs out of the visitor center that is also closed off. I'll show you that in a minute. But first, up the stairs we go. If you go down, you must come up. Sometimes that's not fun. But overall, the Desert Cactus Trail was easily accessed, handicap accessible. Anyone could do it. This guy, on the other hand, not so much. Oh no, you have found a cholla. Did you get attacked again? Oh no, these are considered to be jumping cactus.
It wants to be your friend.
No, no thank you.
You want to play hot potato?
Negative.
You sure?
Never touch a
It's
cactus.
an Australian tradition.
You'll end up like this guy. Now, something I saw on our way out toward the van was a sign that actually talks about the safe conditions for hiking. And there's a little scale here. And I know that they do this at several of the desert locations. So if you are at a national park, look for this. It's very handy. It looks like this. And as you can see, it's telling you when it's safe, when it's not safe, when you should return to your vehicle, and when you should pack extra water. I think that that's super handy. But for the time being, we're on our way back to the van and off to our next adventure. Are you ready for the next adventure?
I'm so excited for our next adventure, Bunny.
There might have been a little sarcasm in there, but we're off to our next adventure. Remember, guys, we're not here for a long time, but we are here for a good time. And coming to places like this, getting a few brain wrinkles, and taking a couple of the smaller trails, definitely something that is that. Till next time, guys. Bye.